So this one was from YouTube. I forgot to write down the name, but it says, "Hey Frankie, another day, another banger. Got a question for your weekly Q&A. How can we increase our email reply rates following your framework, but aren't getting the reply rates I'm looking for? Have a good one. Cheers." So let's talk. Misha says, "Hey Frankie Fihn, I have a good portfolio of lawyers for SEO, but those are through referral. Can you suggest me some platform where I can find referrals and law firm to get more clients for my SEO business?" So AJ says, "Today I'm flying to our biggest industry event of the year and started a Frankie Fihn book in the lounge. Made it 2 pages before finding this gem. The best part, last weekend at our annual party, I unveiled the team that our word for 2025 is partners. No coincidence here, just proof I'm already on the right track." All right, welcome back, everybody. It's been an interesting week over here. We just had our live in-person mastermind. We got to hang with a couple of real legends, and I really treasure those experiences. Yesterday, we went swimming with some whale sharks, and it was really choppy water, so it was like it almost felt like being in a washing machine, and I was getting bounced around. We had a hard time seeing the whale shark, and the guide said, "Come here with me," and then I put on my snorkel mask and looked down. And there was a whale shark, directly underneath me, and I went and touched him. You're not supposed to touch him, and he actually kind of hit me with the tail. So I got to touch the world's biggest fish yesterday. So that was pretty cool. Quick little announcement just before we get rocking and rolling, which is that in the next probably 2 weeks, I am going to be launching a super affordable program that is just for the beginners, the folks who are trying to get from 0 to 1. I probably have resisted this for too long, just being real with you guys, just because I've had so many other things going on. But I wanted to help those of you guys who are really just trying to get the first few pieces sorted. How do you go get the clients? How do you, package your stuff? How do you price it? What do you say in a message? You're on a sales conversation with somebody. What do you say? Why do you say it? And part of the reason I've decided to do this is because I've just built so many tools in the last little while that make it possible to share that good stuff with you guys. So I'm going to do that. As always, by the way, I let you guys know that sometimes Facebook doesn't always show me your comments. So I sometimes see them and I sometimes don't. Right now I don't see anything, so if you guys are commenting, I know it's a little earlier, we're only a minute and a half into this, but sometimes I see them, sometimes I don't. Anyway, so I'll give you guys some details when that is live. It'll be especially for those of you guys, like I said, who are just trying to get over the hump. I want to build an amazing support community and tools and resources and stuff just to make that so much easier for you guys, and all of that, and not to do what everybody says you have to do, which is often very tedious grind, it's a job in and of itself, but to actually do it kind of intelligently and strategically and show you guys how to do that. So look out for that. That's all I got other than taking a drink. And this is my Heidi came to me and said, "I got a surprise for you, Daddy," which is tape and a unicorn. So anyways, let's get into the good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Fihn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A. All right. It's cold here, by the way. Cold for Mexico, anyway. Shed a little tear for that. So this one was from YouTube. I forgot to write down the name, but it says, "Hey Frankie, another day, another banger. Got a question for your weekly Q&A. How can we increase our email reply rates following your framework, but aren't getting the reply rates I'm looking for? Have a good one. Cheers." So I'm assuming this means in regards to cold outreach with strangers. Although having said that, I'm going to answer this question as well. If you have an email list and you're trying to send emails and get your own, audience to respond back to you. So let's start with the cold thing. So I will give you the formula that has worked for us, and there are a couple of details. And I think most people, part of what trips people up is in essence, there's probably a few things, but one of those is, first thing I see is most people misunderstand what the purpose of message number 1 is in a cold outreach sequence. They think message number 1 is designed to sell your thing, and message number 1 is actually just designed to get a conversation started in the direction of a sale. And so you kind of have to make this less than what most people do. Like most people, like, 'cause I get pitched a lot, just so you guys know, I'm mildly internet famous, so I get like a lot of shit comes my way, and I get pitched a lot. And I'll tell you, a lot of times people like they vomit a novel on me, and I just like I don't have fucking time to read a novel from anybody and everybody. So like it needs to be really short and to the point. Okay, so first thing let's talk about like subject lines that have worked for us. Is really like our subject lines that have worked for us really fall into two categories, which is like curiosity or it's about them. And so when I say it's about them, sometimes I'll combine it. So like if I was messaging Frankie, it would say question about Frankie or question about Frankie's book, right? And it sounds so simple, but why do people click on social media all the time? Why do we get email notifications and pop-ups? Because we're always really curious what other people are saying about us. So I use that to our advantage when I'm trying to get messages opened in the first place, okay? So the second thing that can go wrong in a lot of this is what most people do is they talk about the wrong thing to the wrong person. And the wrong thing is you, or the wrong thing is your thing, and the wrong person is you. So I see a lot of messages, I would say like 98% of the stuff I see sounds like this. I am, we are, we do blank. The reason I'm contacting you today is because we have been doing blank. Our service is blah, blah, blah. And you're like literally talking about the wrong person. The person you should be talking about is them, right? So like, I don't know, if I was messaging a restoration contractor, it would be about the fact that, hey, ABC Restoration looks like you guys do Category 3 flood jobs in Georgia and have been for 20 years. Who's that about, by the way? Me or them? Right? So when you start a message, it sounds so simple, but nobody does this in practice, is to start with them. Now, the last piece of that is what I would call a hand raiser, which is like curiosity that makes them want to find out more information. And so the way I typically do that is with an open-ended question, or I may make a sentence and then ask an open-ended question about it. And the key with this is to make that next thing easy to say yes to and very short to reply to, because I think most people underestimate how busy people are, how much of their own shit they got going on, and how much they didn't fucking need your cold message to begin with. So for example, a common thing that people will pitch me with is, are you open to jumping on a 15-minute call? And here's the answer. No! Why? Because I got too much shit going on, right? Like I don't have time to jump on a call with anybody and everybody. So at first, like to me, and this is why video is really, really powerful, because video is easier to say yes to than a 15-minute call. So when you ask that question, ideally what I try and do is make it so to get the conversation started, they really only have to say 1 to 3 words. And then the next thing is you're going to give them additional information, which is usually more than anything about a result you're going to get them and the process that it's going to achieve, or the process that's going to achieve it for them. So like, for example, had an idea to get you Category 3 flood jobs. Let me show you which keywords that are like you're actually pretty close to ranking for. If we just bumped you up 4 spots, like you get some phone calls from people looking for you, right? So in essence, breaking down this format is like a curiosity, question about your thing, statement about them, not about you, and had this idea for you. Would it be okay to share? And often, by the way, like successful outreach sales messages often begin with sure, yes, okay, right? So some of you guys may notice this. If you go back and look, you guys are on my email list. In the beginning of my email list, when you join, you don't fucking know me. You don't care who I am. So my first question is, tell me what your agency does. And people will often reply SEO or SEO for dentists. 3 words. But why? Because I'm not creating for you a mountain to reply. So now when you reply SEO for dentists, if I want to, I can engage you in a sales conversation. Hey, I just clicked on your website, saw you guys are doing this, blah, blah, blah. If you don't mind me asking, like, how is this thing over here going? Right? So I say this to you guys because when I see a lot of outreach, they're usually me, I, we, and then it's a big ask, the next thing. And so almost always the simpler thing is talk about them, make the next step easy to say yes to. And sometimes you have to really think about how can I make the next step easy to say yes to, which for us has always been video. There's more than one way to do it, by the way, but video, right? Or maybe could I text you some details, right? Like that might be equally, non-threatening. But what most people are trying to do is they're trying to, in essence, if cold outreach was an NFL football field, they're trying to go 95 yards as a Hail Mary on a single play. And what you're really trying to do with message number one is just move the ball forwards 20, 30 yards, right? You're trying to get them to say, yeah, okay, I'd hear more about that, right? So the message number one is not the entirety of the sales pitch. It's just should we have a conversation? Yes. Okay, tell me more about it. And if you understand that, you can open with anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place, because you talk about them, you give them a valuable idea, and you say, can I tell you more about it? It's not that much more complicated than that. I say that, it's simple. It does not mean it's easy. If it was easy, everyone would fucking do it, right? That's why there's more people selling the become a cold outreach millionaire than there are people actually doing it, right? Because it's simple. It does not mean it's easy. And then also, another thing that trips people up is, you just literally give them too much fucking shit to think about in a single message, right? So just a simple thing. Can I shoot you over a little something? That's it. That's how the sales conversation begins. And it's the same thing with paid ads. You can, yes, go 100 yards in a single play on a paid ad, but chances are, what you're most, if you guys want to be successful with it, just try and get the ball 20, 30 yards and get them to say, I'm interested. That's by the way, they've done 100 years of direct mail testing, okay? So, those of you guys who never followed direct mail, and this is what they would do. They would go lead magnet, and most of them would use a free report. So they send a free report for somebody to say, I'm interested, tell me more. Then they would follow up with actual sales material, and they would get them to buy one thing, and that thing would be a small intro sort of trial offer, and then they would sell them more shit. And that is the process with which all relationships are formed. Coffee date, first date, marriage. Coffee date is raise my hand, I'm interested, tell me more. First date is let's work together on a small paid kind of basis. And marriage is let's do this together, ongoing forever. And I'll tell you, what trips people up is most people basically vomit a marriage proposal to a fucking stranger, and that's just hard. That's hard. I'm not saying it can't be done, but man, that's hard. So instead of trying to vomit a marriage proposal, what most of you guys need to do is cough a little coffee date. Hey, can I send you a little info? That's it. That's opening. And most people want it to be more than that. But of course, you give info and ideas that lead into the direction of the thing you actually implement. So if I was trying to sell SEO, for example, I would give them info about which keywords they could be ranking for, where they currently stand, where their competitors are, what they would need to do to fill that gap. But of course, I implement all those things on the back end for you, right? So it's pre-selling my service. But if you try and go in a single sale of I just met you, let's work together for 12 months and jump on a call, you're going to have a hard time selling that, right? Versus, let me send you some info about where I think you could get a couple of jobs right now. So I hope that's helpful to you, those of you guys who are doing outreach, because most of you guys talking about yourselves and vomiting marriage proposals, and that's hard. Talk about them and just, hey, I got a little, think about Costco. When Costco wants to sell 1,000 boxes of pizza, they don't go, we are the latest, greatest, high quality, amazing, order 1,000 of these. They just cook up a little free sample and give you a little free sample, and you go, yeah, that's pretty good. How much would it cost me to get a whole bunch more? So think of your outreach as the free sample of the thing you actually sell, right? So in many ways, your first message should actually be valuable in and of itself, because the idea you're giving them is valuable. And you can do that in a video, you can do that in a PDF. There's lots of ways to deliver it, but if you go for hey, I just met you, vomit a marriage proposal, now I'm asking for a call in your time, there's a lot of resistance in that. If you're going, hey, I was checking you out, saw this cool thing about you, had an idea for you, is it okay if I send you little details about the idea? You're going to find, in general, more people will favorably respond back to you. I'm not saying that's the only way to make outreach work, but that's what's worked for us for 20 years. All right, George, this was a question that, I really dig, my dude. And I'll tell you why I really dig this, because you hear this all the time, but nobody really fucking knows what it means. Oh, I just refresh comments and I see Ange, I see Nick, I see Jason, I see Hetty, and I see Cole. I got Cole again, and I see Ilka says the coffee date worked. She's listening. Oh, that's terrible. I don't want my lady listening to me. She's supposed to be downstairs watching the kids. Here's my number. Call me maybe, baby. Hetty, we'll get to your question in a second. I got George here. So George says, would love to talk about what giving value actually means. My 2 cents. Value doesn't actually mean giving secrets or tips that are going to make someone $1 bazillion. I see value as anything that leaves the consumer better off than they were before in respect to your service and their goals. I think Gary Vee touched on this as well. What are your thoughts? Pondering this, as I often find it hard to come up with consistent new value add topics to write content off of. Okay, so this is obviously for those of you guys who are publishing content, like this is a no-brainer. It's like you want to add value to people's lives. It's just the best long-term, shit there is. But it's one of these things we hear and it's kind of abstract. What does it actually mean to give value to somebody? So I want to give you guys a tangible definition so that you can actually go out in the world and do it. And the answer is found in an acronym called TIMER, which stands for time, identity, money, energy, reputation. So if any of you guys have ever tried to sell anything, every reason somebody said no to you is found in TIMER. They said it was too much time. That's not who I am. Too much money. Too much effort. It's gonna hurt my reputation. That's it, right? And it also is every reason people say yes to you. So what it means to give value to people in a tangible way is that you are contributing something to them in the form of TIMER. Okay? And usually, by the way, if you want to make a lot of money in this agency space and help a lot of people, start with taking somebody in mind who is successful already in your industry and simply ask the question, how can I save them some time or some energy? Most people think that this agency game is like, I'm going to make you so much money, and that promise appeals to broke people who ain't got it. But I promise you, like, for example, I've worked with $100 million plus lawyers. They don't give a fuck about money, right? Like, they got more of it than they'll ever know what to do with, right? But if you can save them some time and energy and make their life easier, like, that's going to go a long way. So how do you deliver this in the form of content? Well, the answer is in order to save somebody time or energy, what you first have to know is what are they doing already. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story. Two guys are running, maybe let's call it Cole and Frankie, just for two random names. Cole and Frankie are running through the woods and we're being chased by a bear. And Cole says to Frankie, I don't know if I can outrun a bear. And Frankie says, I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you. Right? And so in many ways, when you save them time and energy, it's not necessarily like in the absolute sense. It's relative to what they are doing now, especially what they are doing now but don't like doing, don't want to be doing, but feel is necessary or have to, right? So for example, in the restoration space, I found that most people generate their business by driving around and, like, figuratively and hopefully not literally kissing ass to plumbers. Because what happens is when it like leaks water, the first thing they do is they call a plumber. But then the plumber says, well, I don't fix all the water damage. You need a restoration contractor. I'll refer you one. The problem with it was that those contractors are basically for sale to the highest bidder. They're kind of like prostitutes, right? And so when they're for sale that was my heel turn. Cole's totally right. So the plumbers are like prostitutes, and so they hate it because even though they're getting all this business from plumbers, the plumbers disappear on them, and they always keep having to start over and chase new plumbers, right? So they don't like doing that. So when I come in and say, hey, I'm going to show you how you can generate business from Google so that you never have to be dependent on a plumber again, it has all of those timer things. It saves them time of chasing plumbers. Identity-wise, they would way rather have people come to them than be kissing ass to plumbers. It makes them money and probably saves them money of like driving around gas and kissing ass to plumbers. Energy-wise, it's easier and it will enhance their reputation because in the process, you're going to create top rankings and Google reviews and things like that. So when you are trying to deliver value to people in content, give them what I would call an SSP, which stands for a simpler, superior process. In other words, a different but better way of doing it than what they're doing now. And by the way, for most of you guys, especially guys who work with offline niches, what are they doing? Mostly dumb shit, like running around chasing people for referrals and depending on word of mouth and things like that. Not that anything about those are bad, but there's a lot of undesirable shit about it. So for you guys, what you do is you focus on delivering them an easier way of doing it. And almost always the thing you already got is easier than what they're doing, but you have to communicate it to them in terms of what they're doing now that they no longer have to be doing. Not in terms of how awesome your thing is. So what most agencies do metaphorically is, we're going to make you more money and more sales and more customers and blah, blah, blah. Not, hey, what if you never had to kiss another plumber's ass ever again because people just called you up from Google and handed you jobs all hours of the day? Would that be beneficial to you? Right? So I say that to you guys because like too many people are not understanding what this means to give value. Like we kind of, we get it at a 30,000 foot view. It means to contribute something to people. But then when you get in the trenches, you don't know how to do that. And so I would suggest if you want to be valuable for real to your marketplace, spend an hour or two doing some research and discover what are they doing now to generate business, and then ask a subsequent question, why don't they like doing that? Why not? And immediately you will find more valuable ways to do that. You already have a simpler, superior process, right? So when you bring that to the table, you bring value to people, and you'll know it through and through because they don't want to be kissing plumbers' asses. They don't want to be doing the shit they're doing. Like roofers run around like hammering signs in the lawn and doing door knockers. Like, yeah, those work, but they don't want to fucking do that. They just want people to call them up and go, I got a leak and I want to pay you top dollar to go put on a new roof. So anyways, I hope that clears the mud a little bit for what that actually means to quote unquote give some value. I see Paul's here. He says, sup, bro? So let's talk. Mishit says, hey, Frankie Fihn, I have a good portfolio of lawyers for SEO, but those are through referral. Can you suggest me some platform where I can find referrals and law firm to get more clients for my SEO business? All right, by the way, to the point being, he just said, like, for those of you guys who are paying attention, this is what a lot of businesses in your market are. He says, I'm getting business. It's from referrals, but, like, in essence, I don't control it, right? So we can give value. It's just in the sense of let me show you how you can create inbound stuff that you do control. So there's really, I'm going to give you guys the overview so it's useful to everybody here. There's really only ever I've seen 6, maybe 7 ways to get clients, depending on how you want to splice it, that work. And it's really a question of which one works for you. And then I'm going to make a specific suggestion for you, Misha. So number 1, this is the one everybody in our marketplace focuses on. And I think it's because it's cheap, it's free, and it's the easiest to wrap your head around, which is one-to-one. So cold email, cold calling, cold DMing people. Sometimes like you can send somebody a direct mail piece, but like you're sending somebody a one-to-one message. Okay, this is what's most commonly taught in our space. I think it's the most inefficient way of doing it, but whatever. People love it. One-to-one. Number 2, you do paid ads, right? You go on Facebook ads most likely, or YouTube ads, or even LinkedIn ads, depending on where your audience is, and you run some fucking ads. Number 3, you publish some content, and you do that consistently over a period of time. A podcast, a YouTube channel, a regular LinkedIn post, whatever. You do something like that, and you post insights into your marketplace, and then people will come to you as an inbound form as a result of content. You guys are looking at this, right, by the way, so you guys are living proof that content works. Number 4, you do networking. You go to face-to-face meetups, or you get over Zoom and you talk to people, and you figure out how you can contribute and help them, and often they will try and do the same for you. Right? So, like, if you guys are in a big U.S. city already, you're just sitting on a mountain of networking. Like, just look at what meetups and events are already there. You don't even have to pay for a ticket, by the way. Just stand outside the fucking bar after the event's over, and people from the event will come to you, right? Like, and by the way, there's no shortage of this. And there's this new interesting tool to find these events. It's called Google, and you can even use ChatGPT to summarize the Google. But networking, face-to-face, okay? My favorite one, audience owners. I find people in the space who already have big audiences, and I publish stuff. And then the reason why it works for me so much faster is because I'm able to then talk to 10,000 dentists at once or 20,000 attorneys at once. And man, that makes prospecting a lot fucking easier in my experience, right? Takes a little bit of balls to do it, but it works. And then last way is the one you're in, referral partners. You do stuff for people who like, know, and trust you and send you business. By the way, if you don't have any referral partners, you can create them by simply finding other people who have like a similar audience to who you're trying to get to, or your exact audience, and just do some cool stuff for them, and they'll feel like they owe you. And by the way, don't ask for permission to do this. Just fucking do it. So for example, for us, when I was trying to get people in the restoration space, I remember like some of their YouTube channels sucked, so I made them some cool thumbnails on Canva. They didn't know me from anybody. I didn't ask their permission to do it. I just said, hey, I was checking out your YouTube channel, and I noticed like your titles and thumbnails aren't really optimized, so I built you a couple templates so that you can do this better at scale. It's already in your brand colors. By the way, Canva, it took me 5 fucking minutes, right? But it's highly valuable to them. Another person, they were trying to sell a live event in their industry association, and I noticed they made one little measly social media post about it. So I went to ChatGPT, said, here's the sales page. How many different ways could you write a social media post over the next 30 days? And they said, you can talk about the speakers, you can use the event, the venue, you can talk about the different subtopics that they're going to learn, you can talk about like the testimonials, the case studies, you can talk about like, like what some of the big takeaways they're going to get from it. And then I said, good, write it. It took me about 10 minutes. Then I went to them and I said, hey, looks like you're trying to sell an event. Well, guess what I did? Made 30 posts for you. Enjoy. Go post them. Good luck selling your event. Well, that person is probably going to fucking refer you, by the way. So those are 6 ways. If you want to count like Upwork and like hiring sites as one, you can. Although I personally don't consider that a source of like really good clients. It's usually people who are price shopping between 50 and 100 people, but you can get clients. So maybe 7, okay? In 20 years of doing this, I've basically seen 7 ways of getting clients. So if you're going to grow this business, you're going to do one of those things. It's only a question of which one of those works best for you. And by the way, you do not have to cold DM like everybody fucking says. In fact, I just did an interview with Corey Vandenberg, and we were talking about they just crossed 5 million. Corey's never sent a fucking cold DM, ever, right? So those of you guys think you got to like cold DM, $5 million a year, not one fucking DM ever sent, ever, right? So I just shared that with you guys because I want you guys to know the alternative. Now, having said that, Bishit, in your particular case, you got some killer bitchin' case studies. You got happy clients, and they're referring you. Turn that into content and boost those case studies with some paid ads, and I would be shocked if other people don't want similar results. So the difference, by the way, between a case study and a testimonial is you have to ask a client, they have to endorse you, they have to get on video or write it out and say why you're awesome. A case study, you don't need anyone's permission. You go, let me show you what I did for client X, and here's where they started, and here's the results, and here's the things we tried along the way. And if you guys are interested in similar results, feel free to give us a call or reach out to us or whatever you want them to do as the next step. And don't be surprised when people are interested. And so, to me, just highlight what you're already doing that's working and put some oomph behind it. Some oomph. All right. I sound really amped today, but I promise you guys I'm so tired from our event and all the stuff. It was awesome, and I loved it, and the people there are just fucking top notch. Oh, sorry, Hetty, I missed your question. He says, hey, Frankie, I launched a successful Facebook ad campaign for a product and got positive results. Now I'm wanting to scale the campaign, but I'm not sure how to do it exactly. Should I just increase the daily budget, expand the target audience, or try new creatives? What's the best way to scale effectively without losing performance I already have? I'd really appreciate your advice. Just so you know, Hetty, Facebook ads of all the ad platforms are the trickiest to scale. In my experience, it absolutely can be done. So I don't want to like discourage you from that. But if I was going to test one thing out of the gate, it would be expand the budget. Like just that's it. And then of course, as you do it, I also think about like too many people focus on the technical side of it. Like think about how you can take your offer and make it even better. And almost always like that alone will make it scale better. So think about like I don't know if any of you guys were alive during the Columbia House days. So back in the day, there used to be this company that made CDs called Columbia House, and they advertised on TV, and they would say something like, get 12 CDs for a penny, and then you had to commit to buying like, I don't know, like one CD a month over the next 2 years. But that introductory offer of like get any of your favorite songs, 12 CDs, and this is before you could like illegally download music. That's probably an important factor in there. But 12 CDs for a penny? Like that was a fucking steal. And so all they had to do in order to sell that shit was just put more ad spend behind, get 12 CDs for a penny. Now, I'm not saying you have to sell your shit for a penny, but if you think about how can I make this thing more valuable to the person? Time, identity, money, energy, reputation, and maybe you can also add in bonuses, things like that. What else would complement this? And what you're going to find is that alone will make your shit scale more. I think too many people focus on the technical side. Should I try, this target, this whatever? Like, just make your offer so fucking easy to say yes to that, I see a pool. I mean, some of your messages are lagging for me, but it says stop smooching plumbers. Like, yeah, like really, who wants to kiss a plumber's ass? It's like full of shit and it's hairy, right? Our girl Ange says, hey, Finn. The Frankie Fihn is here. So I've been a landscaper for 7 years, built strong relationships with local businesses. Now I'm transforming to a GHL marketing agency using Go High Level, helping other home service providers with website building, lead generation, and content marketing using drone photography. I plan to create an ecosystem where partners benefit from backlinking and utilizing our leads as a community. We will regularly work on offers and also offering valuable resources like free and fast detailed quotes to clients. I'm also exploring AI integration. What advice do you have on building a strong brand, attracting high-value clients, and effectively utilizing AI in this new venture? So I've had this conversation with a few people. I actually just had one, in essence, today, where it was somebody, or last night, rather, somebody was here in person. And when people are kind of in those beginner stages, and it was a person, by the way, Ange, who's in a similar situation like you, where they did the thing for a long time and now they're transitioning into an agency that serves the thing they did. So in their case, it was illegal, but in your case, obviously, it's landscapers. I'll tell you what I think throws off like people in the beginning is literally they just start with the wrong starting place. And so what I see is a lot of beginners have this, should I sell GHL? Should I do AI integrations? Should I make them websites? Should I do pay-per-click? Should I do this? And all of those are valid tools, so I don't want to like throw stones at the tools. But what you need to start with is really understanding what do landscapers really want? And also, what are they doing now that they don't want to be doing? Because this is a thing, right? Like your business is not about you. And if you're not sure, by the way, I'll give you a couple of questions that you can ask in communities that are game changers for finding out like what they don't want to be doing. So here's a question to find out what they want more of. What kind of jobs you wish you had more of? By the way, you could put, for those of you guys in other industries, what kind of patients do you wish you had more of? Which kind of clients do you wish you had more of? What kind of customers do you wish you had more of? By the way, they don't value them all equally. Right? So there's a huge difference between I want the tree cutting jobs where I make $50 a week, like regular, like clockwork, versus like, a one-off lawn cut. Like they don't value those equally. And most marketers, by the way, just shout more. We'll get you more leads and more sales and more customers and more. They don't value all of that more equally. So you want to be specific about which more you're going to bring them. Another thing, if you want to find out what they don't want to be doing, this is a fun little question. We've done this in a few industries, but is asking, why should somebody not start a landscaping business? And then you'll get a vomit of comments of people telling you all the things they hate doing. And your job is to find the things that get upvoted consistently and build real solutions to that. Now, chances are you're probably going to use GHL and AI integration and automation and things like that. but it tweaks the way you do it. For example, right? Let me just pick a market. I'll try and pick a random one. What's one I see a lot of? I know I'm blanking. So let's say plumbers, okay? I don't work with plumbers, right? But we have a few guys who do. And plumbers, for example, even though most plumbers know how to clean dirty toilets, do you think they actually want to go to somebody's house and look at a clogged, smelly shit and pull their sleeves up while they're like trying to not gag on the smell and clean that sucker out, when plumbers can also get new construction work? So new construction, they put in a plumbing line and they test a line, and it's brand new construction, and they don't get any shit at all. And they make more money from the new construction than they do from the cleaning the toilet, because the person has an unexpected expense. The home builder expects to pay for plumbing, right? So they have a budget. It's allocated, right? It's not a surprise expense to them. So if I go to a plumber and I show up and say, I'm going to get you more jobs, like everyone else, it's not going to be very exciting, right? He's going to hear more shit, more smelly turds, more, collar full of stink and all of that. And, like some 400-pound fat guy who clogged his toilet. So if I focus on, hey, we figured out how to get new construction work, that's going to be more appealing. And then the part you have to figure out is which tools help them get what they want. So if I'm thinking about that, I'd probably build a website that says we do new construction and show pictures of all their new construction work. And then I would probably rank them or do pay-per-click ads for new construction. And then it might have a go high-level integration, so when a home builder contacts them, it immediately starts following up and saying, hey, we can get you the new construction. So I say that to you because you're probably still going to use all those tools, but don't start with the tools, man. Everybody gets tripped up in the tools. Start with the person. The landscaping business is not about you. You just decide who I'm going to do it for and which kinds of people I'm willing to accept in there. But what they want comes from them, and then you take the tools and you go, how do I shape those like Lego into what they're trying to do? But if you start with the tools, which everybody does, I see this all the time. Like everybody comes to me and they're like, I wonder if I should do a Go High Level SaaS. Oh, AI's hot. Maybe I should do TikTok. Maybe we should do video. Maybe we should do websites, and we're going to do this or that. And all of those are only tools to help them get what they want. If you don't know what they want, you just build tools that like amplify the problems, right? Like if a plumber's getting shitty work and really wants new construction, and you just rank his website, he's just going to get more shit, right? So you have to really focus on building a solution. And almost always, I would say 9 times out of 10, the easiest way to do this for most of you guys is just figure out a type of customer, client, or patient that they really want and build a system around that. And it's like, it can be that simple. Obviously, again, I say simple, not easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But simple, it's not complex. It doesn't have 8 million moving pieces. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. Let's see what else we got. This was not so much a question, other than I just thought that was a good comment that I wanted to rant on. So AJ says, today I'm flying to our biggest industry event of the year and started a Frankie Fihn book in the lounge. Made it 2 pages before finding this gem. The best part, last weekend at our annual party, I unveiled the team that our word for 2025 is partners. No coincidence here, just proof I'm already on the right track. So what I kind of wanted to rant about this, and I saw a post from someone else, I think maybe it was Karen Height, where it was the idea that, by the way, in the bottom of every industry, people are competing. And what's very interesting is if you get to the top 1% of any industry, they are collaborating with each other. And part of the reason it's so hard for people to win at the bottom is because they're trying to do it alone and beat other people, and at the top they share all the intel with each other. So for example, the first time I remember I got invited to a legal mastermind, and one of the guys said to me, the guy running it said to me, hey, we want you to go there and talk to us just like really briefly about our SEO and run a basic analysis for us. And I said, why me? I haven't done my SEO agency for like 3-4 years. And he said, that's exactly why we want you, because anybody else we bring in who understands this stuff is going to try and sell their own solution. you have no horse in the race. You don't care who gets the business. So you can just give us an honest answer, and we don't understand all the technical side of it. So I said, sure, I can do that. Now, this mastermind goes on. Now, a lot of these guys are the top people in their field. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars. In the first hour, they shared everything that was working with their TV commercials, who their top media buyers were, who created their creatives, where they bought their special branded phone number from, what the numbers are supposed to be, which ones were working for them and which ones weren't, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I went from knowing nothing about it to like an hour later, I'm like, man, I could make $1 million winning TV commercials. Okay, so that's what's happening at the top of the marketplace, is everybody is collaborating. At the bottom, they all view each other as competition. Like, I would never, blah, blah, blah. And I'll give you one more example of this. This always cracked me up. In my hometown of Windsor, Ontario, Canada, it's about 250,000 city. They have a festival every year. It's 3 days long, called Art in the Park. And essentially all these artists get together and they showcase all of their art, and they all have booths and stuff like that. And it's a festival, so they have like music and food and beer and shit like that, right? And I've asked a lot of the artists, like, because I'm always curious about their business and how they're doing, like, tell me how you do. And they say, I sell more art in these 3 days than all of the rest of the year combined. So think about it. 362 days a year, they are quote-unquote competitors, and they struggle to sell their shit. The moment they decide to get together in collaboration, like, we'll all sell more art if we make it a cool thing and do it together, and they sell more art in 3 days. So this is the magic of partnerships, especially when you do this strategically. Like, we have a few people that recently have crossed the $1 million a year mark in their space, and all they did is get like a couple strategic partners, like 2, sometimes 3. Like, you can do $1 million a year with one good partner. And so I feel like too many people are thinking volume, how do I get as many people, instead of like strategic, how do I get the right people, which is a way better thing. For me personally, my first 2 agencies both blew up when I got in the flow of the right partner. So the first time, I had a web designer who went to all the plastic surgery conferences and didn't sell SEO and wanted somebody who could do it without the headaches, and found me. And because he sold and sold and sold and sold all these websites, he sold like 300-400 websites a year. Like, we got a lot of SEO business out of it, like between 50 and 100 new clients every year from one guy, one partner, right? That shit adds up. Second time in the legal space, I got invited to speak at one of the conferences, and that led to a bunch of other speaking things. And again, you speak on stage and you get invited in those top rooms, like, you're going to sell a lot of shit. Like, you'll walk off stage sometimes and sign 10 clients. Right? You got a $2,500 a month thing. You just added $25,000 a month recurring in an hour. Right? Like, that's not a bad day at the office. And so there is a systematic way about A, identifying these partners, and B, going to get them. And for those of you guys who are at the stage where you're ready to scale with partners, like, you should probably come to us in the Wolfpack, because I have this down to the point where I have a custom GPT. I can go in your industry, like say you're with dentists, I can go dentist, and in 5 seconds it'll tell me who the top strategic partners are in your industry. I have another GPT that will write messages to those people. In like under 2 minutes, I can identify who the top person is and create a collaboration that works in like under a minute or 2. Like, that is pretty fucking outstanding that we can do that. So that's why I say, like, man, some of you guys who are like cold DMing strangers and going, buy my shit, do you want to buy my shit? And sending thousands of those messages, doing hundreds of calls. Meanwhile, in 2 seconds, we can identify the players. Like, this is way more bullseye, shoot it at the right partner, add value to their world, and they send us a percentage of their audience, and like, you can do $1 million a year with one fucking partner, and it's like way less work, and also, because they're sort of endorsing you and recommending you at the end of this process, like, it's a high value play, meaning like, people don't view you as the salesperson in their inbox, they view you as an industry expert that has trust and credibility, and they come to you asking you for help. It's kind of like the guru at the top of the mountain. They climb and say, can you help me, Mr. Guru? They don't come in here, like trying to, sell your shit. By the way, I guess the comments are working. Cole says it's cold as balls in Ontario today. No fucking doubt, dude. New dude to boot it. That's my Canadian. New dude to boot it. Anyway, I hope that's helpful because, I I don't want you guys to have to like do all the miserable shit that everybody else says you have to do. Partners, man, I'm telling you, like if audience owners, partners, shoe stores, grocery stores, I have different analogies. It's the same thing. Go where they already know everyone in your industry and everybody trusts them and everybody believes in what they got. Add a little bit of value to their world and they'll send a fraction of their audience. Most of you guys, by the way, would hit your wildest income goals with 10 to 50 good clients. Right? Like I see some people saying like, I'm trying to get to 10K a month. If you got a $2,500 a month thing, you need 4 fucking clients. Right? Like a partner knows 4 people. Right? And I'll give you a real example of this. I remember in the restoration space, one of the guys I mentioned earlier that was putting on the live event, and I gave him some social posts to go sell his live event. He said, I really appreciate that. How can we help you? And I said, hey, I'm looking for somebody who's looking for a new website. Do you know anybody? Here's a guy who knows 30,000 contractors. Do you know one person? Of course he fucking does, right? So yes, here you go. He sends me a referral like 10 minutes later. I forget what we charged for that. I want to say it was like $5-6 grand for the website. Something like that. Like 10 minutes worth of chat GPT work. How can I help you back? Hey, if you know anybody who's looking for this, send it my way. He sent it back within the hour. 10 minutes worth of work. And shout out to Lane Hauk, who's just at my house this weekend, because I pimped that shit out to him. I didn't do that fucking website. I sent it to Quantum Agency and keep 3,000 and have none of the work. Anyway, so but that's the power of partners is like they already know everybody in your. There's somebody in your, like, this is what I wish I knew, is there is a monetary flow that is happening in every niche already. And it's only a question of, are you part of it or not part of it? And if you understand it's there, you stick your sail up in it and you catch the wind that's already there. If you don't understand it's there, you just try and knock on strangers' door and hope that eventually you'll start selling some shit, which is what most people do and you don't need to. All right, anyways, enough of the old man yelling at cloud. Our man, Basil Hakeem, says, anyone here have some advanced experience with YouTube ads and wouldn't mind taking a look at my campaign and offering advice/improvements? Details. Okay, this is the landing page I'm directing the clicks to. It says aichat.webservicepro.co. It's an AI chatbot that converses and interacts with the leads. Feel free to play around with it if you like. And the calls to action are book a live demo, Calendly, get a Google Doc to read more info, which leads to the same live demo, or simply signing up then and there. In terms of the ad itself, I'm getting great numbers. I'm combining conversion as the page load of that AI chatbot. Here are the combined stats for the last 7 days. 116 clicks, average CPV 3 cents, conversions 40, conversion rate 3, cost per conversion 60 cents. Question number 1, why is it differentiating between clicks and conversions when that should be the same, since they're clicking for the chatbot page and a conversion when it loads? Page speed in under half a second. So even though the numbers are good, but when should I start to worry about why apparently none of the conversions are leading to either the live demo booking or signups? Obviously, the leakage or bottleneck is happening with the landing page. That much I can figure out. But I hear so many people say they're crushing it with using chatbots as landers since it's more interactive. So I haven't had a chance to check out the page, but I want to kind of give you a format for troubleshooting paid ads. So first thing, I'll just share my experience with paid ads. I fucking hate losing money on paid ads. I really do. So I always try and validate my offers and my angles with organic first, and then use paid ads to amplify. Because I find if you try and skip straight to paid ads, you can make it work, absolutely, but anticipate that you're going to spend 5, 10, 15, 20 grand figuring it out if you aren't starting with the winning offer on day one. Okay? So that's real talk. Nobody really talks about that in our space, but if you, this is why I say paid ads to me are way better of an amplification tool, because for example, I tested a bunch of angles and offers in LinkedIn groups with attorneys, and I found something like the 5 secrets of the world's top attorneys. And it was a hook that worked, and I woke up to hundreds of comments and people interested in sharing my stuff. Well, I eventually turned that into paid ads in a webinar, in a speech, in a program, and one of those 5 things was one of the things we did. And I'd say, hey, if you want our help doing that one thing, we do that. Anyway, those ads worked on day one, is why I tell you that. But the reason they worked on day one is I went like 0 for 40 on LinkedIn angles before I found number 41 and hit a home run. And that's the thing, by the way, nobody talks about in our space. Everybody makes this marketing thing sound easier, but a lot of times you try different angles and hooks. And just so you know, my first 40, I think I got one comment or one person interested. So I went like basically 0 for 40. So imagine like the pitch comes in, swing and a miss. Okay, pitch comes in, swing and a miss. I did that 40 times. Then on number 41, pitch comes in and I like crush it. And I remember actually I posted the thing and it was we had something to do. I don't remember what, so I left and I didn't look at it until the next day. And up until that point, nobody cared, nobody was interested in my shit. And so I didn't really expect anything. And I woke up and there were like hundreds and hundreds of comments, and that my thing I had posted had gone viral, right? Like lightning in a bottle kind of scenario. So when I was kind of like lightning in a bottle. I see Greg's here. What's up, Greg? When I see the lightning in the bottle, do more of it. And so that, to me, is when paid ads work the best, when you're just amplifying what's already proven to work. So if you are going through the process of, hey, that's okay, I'm going to use my money and I'm going to use paid ads to make it work, you want to troubleshoot it like literally one step at a time, right? So the first thing is, are people even fucking clicking the ad? And the answer in your case is yes, right? So whatever you're saying and doing in the ad is working, right? So that's the next thing. So they're getting through. So the next question is, are they getting through the landing page? In your case, it's no, right? So to me, the first place, and I haven't had a chance to like do a deep dive on this landing page, but the first thing to look for is what are you actually offering? And in your case, it's book a live demo. And just so you know, nobody wants a demo. Nobody wants to demo a chatbot. No, there's not a single roofing contractor on planet Earth today who woke up and said, I really want a live demo a chatbot, baby. Right? So you want to really get clear about what is the benefit of an AI chatbot for them on booking a demo, and get really, really clear on why they're going to want to get a demo. Right? Hey, we're going to find you some full roofing installs based on the leads you already have. And I would love to just show you what that would look like in your specific flow. If that's you, book it here kind of thing. But you want to, this is a thing that comes up over and over and over in our stuff. You're talking, at least how you're describing it to us now, you're describing your hammer. You're not describing the outcome of the hammer. So just that switch alone is telling them why they want a bot and what's in it for them will make the bookings on that better. Now, without having seen the landing page, the next thing to troubleshoot is why are they not buying it if you're actually getting them a demo? And again, it's probably the offer that you're making at the end of it. That's the most easiest, most important knob to twist. The same offer as $1,000 down or 20% commission for every lead, or $100 per lead, or we'll only get you full roofing installs and we charge $500 every time you sign one, and there's a $1,000 setup fee. That's all the same chatbot, but those are different ways of presenting the same offer and just the price part of it, right? So the more you twist that piece, the better it's going to work. But be very clear always when you're doing this. In your case, you're doing it for a roofer. What's in it for the roofer? Now, as far as the technical tracking question you asked about why are conversions and clicks different, I've been doing this so long that the truth is I don't fucking know anymore. But part of the reason I'm sure is because people have things like blocking cookies and code. I use Brave browser. Brave blocks a lot of tracking things. So your tracking thing may not fire if I was somebody who clicks on it. Sometimes on certain phone browsers and shit like that. So point being is the numbers are not going to add up. But what you're most interested numbers-wise is don't get caught in the micro shit that everybody fucking looks at. Because I'll tell you, when I first started really scaling paid ads, probably around 2015, 2016, I had a mentor who told me, you want 1% click-through on your Facebook ads, you want 20% conversion on your landing page. We did a lot of webinars back then. He said, you want 1 in 12 people who watch the webinar to actually schedule a thing. You want to close 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 of the people who get on the webinar. And you want to spend less than $250 per booked call and less than $1,000 per signed client. And that all sounded fine and dandy, and I tracked all of those numbers, and I had great click-through rates, great sign-ups, great opt-ins, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, on the other side of that phone call, I was getting people who were the wrong people. Like literally just the wrong people. Like the broke, can't afford it, don't have two nickels to rub together kind of person. And yet all of my numbers looked great. So a big part of this is you really want to call out the right person. And so to me, the hidden metric in paid ads is really simple. Are the right people coming through the machine? So I don't care if you got 116 clicks. Did you get 116 clicks from the right people? That's a whole other thing. I don't know if the answer is yes, because I can't see all the details of the campaign, but I just want you to gauge what the right thing actually is. And having said that, to be honest with you, if it was me in your shoes, I would do some organic stuff to validate that offer and that angle and at least get one successful person to come through it before I went and like turned up the heat with some paid ads, even though they work. Unless you're sitting on like 10, 20 extra grand to just play with it and try it out, then by all means use your money and speed it up. But I find most people who are starting out with ads don't. And then the other thing is, this is a thing that I feel like nobody really talks about as well. Like, dude, you're barely even fucking started with paid ads. And this is I really wish more people understood that all high ticket sales are a process, not an event. Okay, you know what an event is? I won the fucking lottery. And even actually winning the lottery is a little bit of a process because you got to go there and you got to buy a ticket or find a ticket and you got to like check it and make sure like, yep, those are the numbers, and then you got to cash it in, right? And so almost always what most people are doing metaphorically is if you consider an agency sale as a football field, when nobody has heard of you, I guess it should be this side because it's mirrored for me. When nobody's heard of you, you start on like the 5-yard line. And your job is to bring it 95 yards up the field for a sale, right? Almost everybody's trying to do it as a Hail Mary in one fucking play. What's the one outreach message I can do that'll get me 95 yards up the field? What's the one thing I can say that in an ad that will get me 95 yards in a play? What's the the one piece of content that I can post that'll get me a touchdown in one play? And here's the thing, is if people clicked on your shit, they probably just moved 20 yards up the field. And you scored no points for it, by the way. But if you continue to put your stuff in front of those people, it will continue to drive the ball forward. And most people I see this perpetually with people trying to get started. They do some stuff and they get a little bit of clicks and stuff like that, but nobody throws a credit card at them and they go, it's not working. And in unseen ways, you move the ball 20, 30 yards up the field and you stopped. And then you said, I'm going to try a different niche. And then you go move the ball 20, 30 yards there and go, it didn't work. And just like football, you only get points at the end of the field. And so almost always, yes, you can score a Hail Mary, but man, most of you guys would make your life easier if you thought of conversion as a 5 to 20 touch process, not as a single ad, a single sale, a single piece of content, a single outreach message, and really started focusing on what I would call campaigns. Travis Sago calls this the difference between piddly farting and campaigning. And piddly farting to me is this is how most people run paid ads in your shoes, okay? They spend $50, $100, $500, $1,000, whatever, and they lose money because all that happened is the ball moved up 20 yards. They put one toe in the water and they go, whoo, it's cold. Woo. Okay, no more paid ads for me. No more outreach for me. No more content for me. It didn't work. And almost always in this busy world where the amount of shit competing for people's attention is fucking massive, it takes repetition to move the ball and drive it up the field. And so you are severely handicapping yourself if you think about conversion as, how do I go 95 yards in a play? Oh, that play didn't work. Let's try another Hail Mary. Instead of thinking, how do I continuously drive the ball forward? So I think of like Chris Rodriguez, who has an agency that has something like 500 people in the martial arts space. They have like 400 or 500 clients. I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. They're a little bit of a lower ticket thing, but like that's still a lot of fucking clients, by the way. 400 or 500. And I remember she told me they have a Facebook group of like 4,000 or 5,000 people, and she posts in it every fucking goddamn day of the week, even more than I post to you guys. But what happens every time she posts? 5 yards forward, 10 yards forward, 5, 5, 2, 2, 2, 2. Hey, I've been watching your stuff for 2 months now. Touchdown. Hey, I've been watching your stuff for 6 months now. Touchdown. Right? So many of you guys are trying to score on one play. It's like the guy who's trying to get laid at the bar last minute. It just comes across as sleazy and desperate. Instead of like, hey, I like you. Let's go for a coffee date. And then coffee date. Hey, would you be down to first date? After the first date, hey, that was such a nice first date. Why don't we go steady? Right? So if you really think about that, you can drive the ball forward faster than other people. But I think most people underestimate how much work it actually takes to convert strangers off the internet, and therefore have unrealistic expectations about like, where's my Hail Mary? So like in your case, like I spent $100. Why are there no touchdowns? I spent $100, and all you get for $100 is you got a little bit of testing and you got some people who moved up 20 yards up the field. Welcome to the game. You're 20 yards closer. You're now on the 25-yard line. And almost always, by the way, this is the thing that, like, for me is very disheartening as an agency mentor because people don't understand this process. They give up. And all they had to do was keep going. Like, you see this, like, I'll give you an example of this, okay? In another industry where you can see it really often. Say somebody's 300 pounds and they start a weight loss journey and they exercise and eat right for like a month and they go from 300 pounds to 296. A month later, they often feel really defeated and they go, shit, like I did all that work and all that dieting and all that exercise and I'm only 4 pounds lighter, like, and they give up. But which way is which way is that direction trending? From 300 to 296, it's going the right direction. The ball is moving up the football field. All they have to do is just keep going. That's it. But they had unrealistic expectations about how fast it would be, how easy it would be. And I'll tell you, by the way, the slowest part of this, all of this, is that you were ready for the client to pay you the second you started running ads. They have a process they must go through to arrive at a sale with you. Even when, by the way, you have an add-on offer, and a lot of guys sell replacement offers. Those of you guys who have replacement offers, like SEO, where they have to fire their existing provider to bring you in, that's a replacement offer. Usually, by the way, the litmus test for a replacement offer is, would they have to let somebody go to bring you in? Those have even longer runways. In fact, some of the best SEO guys I know, they expect it'll be 2 years, 24 months before a client actually converts and does business with them. So they're thinking in 2-year timelines as their conversion sales cycle. Most of you guys post one piece of content and go, I gave up because it didn't work. They understand that driving the ball across the field for a replacement offer is 2 years. 2 years. And then you have an add-on offer. So that means there's nobody they have to fire. They don't have a chatbot person. It bolts on. It is complementary, their thing. Still probably takes them 10, 20 days to decide with an add-on offer in terms of information, how's it going to help me, getting clear about how it works, scheduling, talking to you, etc. And so I just say this because so many of you guys are severely handicapped by thinking about it as, let's go 95 yards in a play. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try something else. We didn't go 95 yards in a play. And the people who do this best understand they're going to have multiple touches with the same person. And by the way, if you're going to have multiple touches with the same person, it's really beneficial if you can do that in a one-to-many setting. This is one-to-many, by the way. I'm making a video. Lots of people watch it. Like, I don't know if you guys see. We got something like 17, 18 comments so far, right? There's me making one video, and yet, 17, 18 people are at various stages are commenting on it, right? So to me, if you're going to move the ball up the field, the best way to do that is one-to-many. So to me, like, if that was my ad, I'd be saying, what can we do now to follow up with the 117 people or whatever who clicked? I mean, we just moved them up 20 yards. How can we keep that momentum going forward? So, anyways, that's a long-winded rant. I know that's probably off the mark for probably where you were looking for some guidance on that.
It's just arrived for you.
Well, thank you.
From your friends?
From my friends? I'm not cool enough to have friends. Well, thank you guys for the impromptu. Daddy's making a video right now. Oh, that's cool. Shout out to Lewis right there. Lewis V, my man, the giant with 4 kids. Just sent me some swag. Dude, you're awesome. Like, that just came in real time. So I appreciate that, my dude. I'm going to have to tag you in that. anyways, I wanted just to share that with you guys because, like, if you have unrealistic expectations, you just give up too early. And I'll tell you, nothing is more disheartening for me than watch people go, I've been doing this, I sent 100 messages, I got 100 clicks on my ad and nobody bought shit, therefore I should give up. And the unseen thing is, you just move the ball up the field 30 yards. You just have to keep going. Just like the weight loss person who lost 4 pounds, just keep dieting and exercising. Just do it longer than you were doing it. And I say that because most people underestimate how long it has to go. Yes?
Can you take this off?
You want me to take this off for you, honey?
Yeah, you better want.
You want my unicorn? Okay, hold on.
I wanted to hang it on the key.
Yeah, I see you want to hang it on the keys. Now, hold on. This is why Daddy's got internet working hands and not like real man hands. So, anyways, that is the just that. By the way, for those of you guys who missed the beginning, I've resisted doing this for a long time, but in over the next 2 weeks, I can't tell you exactly when because I'm building a lot of things, but I'm going to be launching a like super mega help community for those of you guys who are the beginners who are trying to go from 0 to 1 or entering a new niche, and hopefully helping you guys eliminate some of the confusion and give you some time-tested strategies to be able to go get those first handful of paying clients so that the internet business is real and not just a dream, and to do it in ways where it's easy to help and support them. And so we're building kind of like tools and swipe files and templates and all those kind of things. I don't have full details on it other than, like, I know most of you guys who are starting out aren't sitting on a mountain of cash, so I will do my best to make it as affordable. I can't do it for free because if I give you free shit, people don't do shit with free shit. So I got to make it something, but I'll make it so that, you know, it's within range for you guys to do something. And as always, for those of you guys who are interested in scaling, we always have the Wolf Pack, which is you can find more at beyondagencyprofits.com/Wolfpack, which is below. And that is for those of you guys who want to scale this baby and do it phoneless and meetingless and actually have a life, man. Like, we just had an epic 3 days here with some real heavy hitters. Jonathan Mast was down here, who's a near and dear friend of mine, but he's just a brilliant dude. And we mapped up, we had a combination of come up with cool shit that we're implementing right now on the spot, and just swimming with whale sharks, going to some amazing beaches and having a good time and eating some good eats. So if you guys are interested in the Wolf Pack and that sort of, if that sounds more your style and less the grind your way to 1,000 cold fucking DMs like everybody else says, then you may want to check out that baby. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but I'll tell you, if you're the right person, we've definitely had more than a few people, you know, go from 50,000, 100,000 a year to $1 million a year plus, sometimes even $1 million, you know, in a week. Obviously, those are not average and typical results, but if it's for you, you're going to want to check that out because it's pretty cool shit in my experience. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I'm glad you guys are here, and appreciate you guys. Much love, and may the force be with you. Hey guys, if you like this video, you may also like my best-selling book here, Beyond the Agency Box. It is all about scaling a digital marketing agency while eliminating meetings and phone calls. We actually sell our stuff phoneless. We don't have any client meetings, and we also hire our team entirely without meeting phone calls, which allows us to, you know, like actually kind of live a life. I've laid out the entire blueprint in everything you need to know: getting clients, onboarding, setting expectations, scaling, building a team, you name it. It has been a bestseller on Amazon now for over 5 straight years, but now you can get it even cheaper than you can get it on Amazon. So I can't tell you the exact price because it may change when this video is released, but there should be a link to it below, either in the description of the video or as well as a pinned comment. So if you're interested in that, check out that video, and you can get a copy for super cheap.